He helps the others embrace reason and skepticism, and to think critical through music, art, and lit. Truth before comfort, you're going to love this shit.
Let's be sincere in our questions, honest in our answers, open-minded and respectful in our manners. At the adult table, take a seat. People deserve respect, they deserve dignity, because they're humans, not because of their beliefs. So when you're at the table with adults talking, no belief is sacred, no subject is off topic. You may not believe it, but here adults can share ideas without getting heated. Cause if you yell, call names, or use threats, go back to the kids' table where you get spoon-fed. We welcome questioning, we think wonder's good. Seek first to understand, then be understood. You wanna hang with us? Come sit and listen, but understand no beliefs immune to criticism. Whether religion, philosophy, or politics, at the adult table you can discuss all of it. But if you like to bully or get upset and pissed, you shall be seated with the rest of the kids. Let's be sincere in our questions, honest in our answers, open-minded and respectful in our manners. At the adult table, take a seat. Come have a conversation with me. Let's be sincere in our questions, honest in our answers, open-minded and respectful in our manners. At the adult table, take a seat. You can raise your voice or you can raise your words. You can talk over others or you can take your turn. You can throw a fit or spit insults, or you can grow up and come and join the adults. There's no need for you to ridicule unless you're immature and haven't graduated middle school. So what you gonna choose? To dive deep into topics or belly flop in the kiddie pool? If you came to mock and shame or play the gotcha game, I got news for you, this is not the place for that type of behavior. If you can't keep your cool, then you need to move to the kids' table. Cause where we sit, there's no heated debate, only grown-ups who can peacefully engage. So if you're with non-confrontation conversation, we adults are Let's be sincere in our questions, honest in our answers, open-minded and respectful in our manners. At the adult table, take a seat. Come have a conversation with me. Let's be sincere in our questions, honest in our answers, open-minded and respectful in our manners. At the adult table, take a seat. Come have a conversation with me. Monday, I say Tuesday Eve, and I don't let my mood swing based on what you think. I live a life dictated by the thoughts of others. Please, I can never give over the keys to a person who doesn't even know me. That's where the difference lies. You guys it as a kindness blindly being victimized. Well, I don't tolerate the type of treatment people only treat you and behave to you in ways you teach them. That's worth a repeat in every interaction. Ask yourself, how do I teach others to treat me? Cause often you'll see people don't suck, you just allow them to pull on your strings. Are you a victim who is choosing to complain and make excuses? If this is you, then stop what you're doing. It's time to pull your own strings, now get to it. Are you a victim who is choosing to complain and make excuses? If this is you, then stop what you're doing. It's time to If you want more, demand more. What do you stand for? Whether you think you can or can't, either way you're right. So why do you choose a losing attitude? You'll never get where you want with your negative thoughts attacking you. Often get what you expect. So do you expect the best or neglect and disrespect? We love fulfilling our own prophecies. You'll notice how you're so good at predicting when you'll not succeed. It's not an accident. We like to bitch about our problems, and to solve them means we have to quit. It's funny how we don't see our own deeds often entangled us in our own strings. Are you a victim who is choosing to complain and make excuses. If this is you, then stop what you're doing. It's time to pull your own strings, now get to it. Are you a victim who is choosing to complain and make excuses? If this is you, then stop what you're doing. It's time to pull your own strings, now get to it.
Put your mind on achieve mode. Go for your goals, boom, boom, explode.
There's 4 basic reasons people don't have goals. The first one's fear. What do you know? There's fear of success and of failure, but here's the deal. It's all false evidence appearing real. Number 2, poor self-image. Cause how you see yourself, you'll act consistent with it. Thinking positive works, but forget it if you're the type of person whose self-image is negative. Number 3, they've never really been sold, but that's about to change. You must have goals. You can shoot a target in the dark 100 feet back, but how you gonna hit a target you don't even have? Number 4, they don't know how to set goals. It's understandable, but when you learn to set one, you can set any. So grab that pen and get busy. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. Go for your goals, boom, boom, explode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. Go for your goals, boom, boom, explode. When you got a solid base with a solid objective plus a solid commitment, you've got a much better chance of reaching your goals. So keep persistent. Failure is the path of least resistance. There's no debating. Most of us would set goals if we only had the motivation, but that's backwards. Cause see, the fact is, motivation follows the action, creating energy. So get on with it, but don't confuse activity with accomplishment. There's no time for hesitation. Success occurs when opportunity meets preparation. Life isn't easy, life is tough, but when you're tough on yourself, life becomes easier. Plus, when you do what you ought to do, when you ought to do it, the day will come when you can do what you want to do, when you want to do it. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. Go for your goals, boom, boom, explode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. You gotta put your mind on achieve mode. Go for your goals, boom, boom, explode.
Butcher the boys, massacre the mothers, debauch the daughters, and it's all in numbers.
31:17.
If I was Jesus and I came to start a new religion, I would have written it myself without the contradictions, or procured a person to put it on the paper, to write it while I was alive, and not decades later. I would have made sure all was clear with nothing vague, to be no need for interpretation of what I had said, and consequently no denominations, nor a single copy error to another language. You wouldn't see me heal a bunch of leopards. I would do better and remove the disease altogether. There'd be no sermons, only topics worth hearing, such as the scientific method, physics, and the germ theory. I turned the golden rule into platinum by simply quoting the brilliant Dr. Linus Pauling maxim: do unto others 20% better than you'd expect they do to you, to correct for subjective error. There'd be no second coming. If I were Jesus, I'd finish the mission first time, task completed. Cause if it's really about love, I would improve humanity without the spilling of blood. There'd be no second coming. If I were Jesus, I'd finish the mission first time, task completed. Cause if it's really about love, I would improve humanity without the spilling of blood. If I were Jesus, and I came to do the will of God, I would have thought that me being tortured to death was really odd. Cause if God is all loving, He could have snapped His fingers and done away with suffering. Which is what I would have done, plus conquered evil, so I wouldn't need to make a second run. Cause if I came to challenge status quo, I would have mentioned that slavery has to go. The proof is in the pudding. I'd have it written that women are on an equal footing. And so it isn't vague. I'd also add that they can be better in many ways. God may have gave the devil a job, but if I were Jesus, I'd lay down the law. I would put hell out of business. Done and ended by telling Satan he's fired, pun intended. There'd be no second coming. If I were Jesus, I'd finish the mission first time, task completed. Cause if it's really about love, I would improve humanity without the spilling of blood. There'd be no second coming. If I were Jesus, I'd finish the mission first time, task completed. Cause if it's really about love, I would improve humanity without the spilling of blood.
Religion is defined as the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power, and atheism is precisely not that.
Atheism is the arrogant belief that this entire billion galaxy universe wasn't made for me. Let me define it once more. An atheist is one who lacks invisible means of support. Now if you want, you can love religion, but God made me an atheist. Who are you to judge His wisdom? I was born without belief, as every baby is, and after finding reason became a born-again atheist. The proof for other gods always gets ignored. The reason you dismiss theirs is why I dismiss yours. We're all atheists one way or another. The difference is I take it one God further. While your church and Messiah engage in legal tax evasion, atheism is a non-profit organization. I have faith there is no God, I'll admit it. I'm not an atheist, I'm God's loyal opposition. If religion is the belief in a superhuman controlling power, then atheism is precisely not that. It's precisely not that. If religion is the worship of a superhuman controlling power, then atheism is precisely not that. It's precisely not that. But atheism's a religion, you dare utter? Okay, it's a religion like bald is a hair color. See, atheists have no one to blame, but still we sin, so God's sacrifice wasn't in vain. And when I'm mentioning thanks, I give credit where it's due instead of to a list of saints. See, I'm weird and a wee bit odd. I'm a dyslexic atheist, I don't believe in dog. So put the ball away, you get like Christmas and Easter, while 365 is my holiday. Take a breather, you think I worship the devil? Lol, I don't believe in Satan either. They say I have no basis for morality, yet when I do something wrong, they all get mad at me. But if it's true in fact, then it's not my fault, since I wouldn't know what counts as good or bad. Every dogma has its day. In the beginning was the word, in the end the cliche. Some atheists attack religion, and this is true, but they won't stone you to death for your beliefs like some religions do. If religion is the belief in a superhuman controlling power, then atheism is precisely not that. It's precisely not that. If religion is the worship of a superhuman controlling power, then atheism is precisely not that. It's precisely not that. If you sleep with the lights on, I feel bad for you, cause I got 99 problems, but ego ain't one. It was late when my friend called, freaking out. I guess some paranormal stuff had happened in her house. She knows I'm a skeptic who likes to question claims, and so she asked if I would do the task and come investigate. I was half asleep, but knew she was scared, and so I said that I'm headed over, just let me get prepared. I grabbed the garlic, holy water, crucifix. Wait, I don't believe in ghosts, the hell I'm gonna do with this? When I arrived, I tried to calm her, told her a couple jokes and poured her a glass of water. Once she relaxed a bit and could sit composed, I kindly asked her, what exactly is a ghost? She tried to explain but couldn't quite describe it and kinda was vague and mentioned energy and white light, and then I thought of Einstein and E=mc², but whatever. I was there to listen. I guess she had been dozing off and saw an apparition walking close to her side, but it disappeared when she fully opened her eyes. Plus she heard noises from the basement, movement in the kitchen, and just couldn't explain it, but then claimed to know it was a ghost. But if she can't explain it, why does she claim to know? If there's something strange that you can't explain, it's okay to just say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. If it's unexplainable, then don't make a claim to know. It's okay to say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. We began our investigation, grabbed some flashlights and headed for the basement, which I was a teeny bit afraid to search. So I opened the door, smiled, and said, ladies first. She just gave a dirty look at me, and so I turned on my flashlight and took the lead. As we descended, I recommended we hold hands, when all of a sudden, boom, the door slammed. She let out a screech, and I jumped a bit, but fortunately it was just the pressure from the wind. And those noises she heard from before sounded a lot like the wind blowing under the door. I held her hand again, but she was sweating galore, saying she heard footsteps on the floor. What? So now I'm bugging out. Is this a booby trap? My only thought was to pop me a Scooby snack. Man, I bum rushed the door and nearly broke my shoulder as I rolled on the floor. Of course it was nothing, just a false alarm, even though it felt like somebody had ripped off my arm. I told her, listen up, her imagination's gonna get me killed, and I've had enough, and I got more to say. But first, let's take a chorus break so I can nurture this shoulder pain. If there's something strange that you can't explain, it's okay to just say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. If it's unexplainable, then don't make a claim to know. It's okay to say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. I asked why she was freaking out. This is a creaky house. Then I gave her something to think about. If you're a ghost, then it seems to me if you can float, you'd have no need for feet. She heard stuff ruffle in the kitchen, then she found that cups and bowls and pots and pans had shifted. But hold up, let me get this straight. A ghost can walk through walls and then pick up a plate. For what? To let us know it's here by moving this or that or throwing fits. But why don't it just go get a pen and pad? Enough of the drama, let's cut to the chase. It could put it down on paper if it's got something to say. I know to her it's all seemingly wild, but to me it seemed like we're dealing with a child. This ghost would cry at night, slam doors and throw stuff. Clearly this is not the hallmark of a grown-up. Then she showed me photos of orbs and a pixelated image of a humanish form, but they look like nothing to me, except like being reflected off of dust and debris. Oh, and just a question more, why does it always seem that ghosts only show up when visibility's poor, or during the hypnagogic state, or out the corner of your eye when you're alone and it's late? If there's something strange that you can't explain, it's okay to just say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. If it's unexplainable, then don't make a claim to know. It's okay to say, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. We jump up in fright when things go bump in the night. We evolve this propensity to help us survive, just like recognizing faces. We're a pattern-seeking species, so we see things in meaningless information, like the clouds or a piece of toast. So keep that in mind next time you think you see a ghost. My friend had an experience, no doubt that she did. I just don't think that it happened outside of her head. She was like an itch I couldn't scratch. I knew it wouldn't last, but I still pursued the path because she was stunningly pretty, fun, loving, and friendly. At least that's how it seemed in the beginning, until it dawned on me I was dating a woman into astrology. For example, I bought her shoes which she refused to unbox because her horoscope said avoid the color black for 1 month. There's more though, she would never even leave the house without first checking her horoscope. It's amazing the amount of frustration you'll tolerate when you really think you care for someone. She'd rarely offer an apology, but instead would blame her behavior upon astrology. She could justify just about anything anytime by going back to the zodiac signs. And to make it worse, when I met her mom and dad, they insisted on knowing my date of birth. But why? So they could pigeonhole me? Instead of taking the time to get to know me? It didn't matter though, they had made up their minds, saying our signs were incompatible. I said thanks, it feels great to be judged by your preconceived opinion that you read in a book. Yeah, cause astrology at its core is stereotyping a person by the time of year they were born. We had a lot in common, but we're barely alike. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. We got along great, but every day we would fight. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. We had a lot in common, but we're barely alike. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. I hate to admit it, I think her parents were right. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. I had enough of their arrogance. They thought they had an accurate system by which to judge others, and that's unfair to them. But I wanted to be open to listening to the reasons of how they know it's true. So I asked, how does it work? They said it has to do with the position of the stars and planets at your time of birth. I said, wait a minute, I got a question. Why the time of birth and not conception? They gave a puzzled look, and as they flipped through the pages, looking something up in a book, I asked, how could the planets possibly function to signify what physiologically goes on with someone? They closed the book, looking mad at me, and said perhaps it has to do with lighter gravity. I said, yeah, but we already know the obstetrician has a greater gravitational pull than any planets. Plus, you'd have to admit none could be compared to the sun's massive effect. And if how you say it works is how it happens actually, then twins should always have the same fate and personality. But they don't. Perhaps I'm missing something, but it just seems this stuff is a joke. They looked upset and said they didn't want to talk now, put the book on the table and walked out. We had a lot in common, but we're barely alike. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. We got along great, but every day we would fight. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. We had a lot in common, but we're barely alike. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. I hate to admit it, I think her parents were right. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. We were alone now and neither of us said a thing. The silence was so loud that the sound of it was deafening. I looked around the room for words I wouldn't find, cause she used the last few to say you're so much like your sign. I was annoyed beyond belief. She could see I was upset and tried to kiss me on the cheek. A typical pretty girl move who's always had her way with men, but my only thought was how to get out the relationship. Not every couple lasts forever, but it's a massive treasure if you learn from what you had together. I know I did, I just couldn't help that I become so disenchanted with the soothing beauty of her siren song. Okay, so getting back on topic, we both knew that we were through, yet we sat around talking, smiling about the good times, laughing at the bad ones, crying, realizing it's the last time we'd have fun. I held her close, knowing I was gonna miss the warmth of her body, the taste of her supple lips. So with the subtleness, I leaned in gently, giving her one last passionate kiss. It was time for me to leave. My eyes were so full of tears that I could hardly see. And as I closed the door, knowing there was no going back, I couldn't help but think she'll probably blame this on the zodiac. We had a lot in common, but we're barely alike. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. We got along great, but every day we would fight. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. We had a lot in common, but we're barely alike. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. I hate to admit it, I think her parents were right. I guess she just wasn't my stereotype. Is astrology ridiculous, or does it give our lives a sense of cosmic significance? And can it help some of us cope, or is it bunk and what it's really offering is false hope? If it's fun to think about, is it funny when you're being treated differently because of what somebody read? And is it dangerous if it plays upon your fears and often manipulates your trust? Several months have passed when I found myself reminiscing about the past and wondering if I made the right decision, or is it just I can't get along with these types of women? You know, the ones who think it's fun to ask your birthday so they can judge you. Plus they love to place a lot of weight in basing decisions off of the constellations. I mean, yeah, the companionship is nice besides the constant Barnum statements and the confirmation bias. I guess I just can't stand to watch somebody I love pay money to get taken advantage of. Look, I get it, this world can be cold, so I understand why people need a sense of control and to feel connected, to be accepted, to believe that positive things are predestined. This is why I'm concerned, cause people searching for comfort can often get burned by those who offer answers for a costly price. And the astrologer's favorite house seems to be the dollar sign. Suppose I seriously claim that a fire-breathing dragon lives in my garage. What would you say? I mean, with all the stories about dragons throughout history, but no real evidence, now here's an opportunity. Show me, you say. And so we look in my garage, but all we see is empty cans of paint. Where's it at, you question? Oh, she's right here, but she's an invisible dragon I failed to mention. And so you suggest we spread flour on the floor to capture the dragon's steps. And that's a good idea, and I suppose it's fair. But see, this dragon's always floating in the air. You'll use an infrared sensor to detect the invisible fire. But hold on a sec, see, the thing is, that's a good idea, but the invisible fire is also heatless. You'll spray paint the dragon to make her visible, but the paint won't stick, she's incorporeal, and so on. I counter every physical test with a special explanation of why it can't be met. Now, what's the difference between the dragon I described and one that never existed? If you can't disprove my contention and nothing counts against it, what's it even mean to say my dragon's in existence? Your inability to invalidate my hypothesis is not at all the same as proving it true. A claim is veridically worthless if it's immune to disproof, despite whatever value it may have in exciting our sense of wonder and inspiring action. What I'm asking you to do is to believe me in the absence of evidence, because I say it's true.